What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Adam Theory, where we talk about investing, startups, and current events. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a company that I think people should put on their investment radar. That company being Coinbase. It recently had its IPO on April 14th, and it's been trading for roughly about a month now. In this quick video, I'm going to talk to you about what the company does, some reasons why I think it's a good investment opportunity, and do some future predicting, not in terms of price, but in terms of future trends of technology and investing and macro factors. And finally, we'll take a quick look at the charts too. I'm not a financial advisor, so this isn't any financial advice. I just simply wanted to talk about a stock that I think some people should do some more research on before making a decision for themselves as to whether or not it's something that they want to put into their portfolios. So what is Coinbase? Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange. Think of the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ exchange. It was founded in June of 2012 by Brian Armstrong, and it's a US-based company. Since going live on April 14th, it's been trading in a downward trend for the last 16 days, up until about 2 days ago when it found price support at about $250, which coincidentally is the initial reference price when the IPO was first announced. On May 13th, Coinbase has their earnings call coming up, and I expect the numbers to be extremely positive. That being said, earnings calls are notorious for having positive results but negative reactions to stock prices, so nothing's guaranteed. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about Coinbase is the fact that they've been doing extremely well over the last 3 months, especially from their estimates that they've announced back in April. And so if they can meet those numbers or even potentially exceed some of those numbers, I think that's a very bullish signal for a lot of potential investors. In Coinbase's S1 that they filed back in February of this year, they reported some staggering numbers. My guess is that those numbers have continued to grow over the last 3 months. We're about to see some impressive growth on top of those numbers. Let's take a look at some of those numbers right now. These are just some metrics that I think are pretty compelling. Verified users, they went from 43 million all the way to 56 million, which is about a 30% growth change. Monthly transacting users have gone from 2.8 million to 6.1 million, 117% change in growth. Trading volume in 2020 was 193 billion in totality. In Q1 alone, they're estimating 355 billion in trading volume. When you look at assets on the platform, they went from 90 billion, and in Q1, they're estimating 223 billion in assets on the platform. And when you think about total revenue, this is the one that really made me have to look twice at the numbers. But they went from $3.4 billion since inception of the company in 2012 to the end of 2020, and in Q1 alone they're estimating 1.8 billion in total revenue. About 96% of those revenues coming from fees that they charge users for transacting on their platform. And so the percentage growths are just so staggering, and they're still in the early days of adoption by everyday users. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I just wanted to kind of point those data points out to people because it's just showing tremendous growth in a short amount of time. And like we said earlier in previous videos, the crypto exchange market is growing so quickly at the moment, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. When I look at stocks, I'm always trying to look at those stocks from the lens of 5 to 10 years from now. Where will they be then? I don't simply have the time to be managing short-term trades, so when I'm making investment decisions, I'm looking for things that I can set and forget and check back in 5-10 years instead of in 5 to 10 weeks. So what will the world look like? What are the macro trends that'll be happening? Plain and simple, the traditional global financial system is a $300 trillion operation. Cryptocurrency in its totality is currently sitting at about $2.5 trillion. And so even if cryptocurrencies only penetrate an additional 10% of the global financial system, that means there's still another $27 trillion worth of value in the near term. And if we look even further out, 10 plus years from now, I think it has the potential to take a much larger portion of the pie, if not all the pie eventually. And so there's just a huge opportunity just waiting there. And I don't think the financial system that we have today can innovate quick enough to stop it from happening. With that in mind, I believe that Coinbase is well positioned to be a market leader in the space of crypto exchanges now and in the future. And why is that important? It's because during the gold rush, most of the miners didn't get rich. The Pickaxe, Shovel, and Denim companies did. The people providing the ancillary support items to maintain those miners is who actually made the most profit, because they could support all of the different miners and not just have one hand in the jar. They could have many hands in the jar. Coinbase is providing those pickaxes, shovels, hard hats, and Levi's to provide a trusted exchange for cryptocurrency investing. In addition, it's estimated that about only 106 million people globally have actually invested in some form of crypto as of February of 2021. And with almost 8 billion people on Earth, that's less than 2% of the global population who have invested in cryptocurrencies. It's a staggering number to think that only 2% market penetration has occurred. Think of what happens when it's 10%, 25%, or 50%. Next, I wanted to take a quick look at the charts. I know there's not a lot of data there because it's only been around for a handful of weeks, but we can still make some assumptions about where the price is going to go in the future. Okay, so when we look at the charts, I think the things that stand out to me the most are the initial price when it went live on April 14th. So when we look at the reference point of 250 all the way down here, we can see that since it went live back on April 14th, it's been trading down in this channel and it touched right off of 250. And since that point, it's made a nice rebound and we're right at about $300. My expectation is that whenever you're looking at stocks, they generally follow the same types of patterns, which is they will, be trending, break out of that trend. And so for me, I decided that this trend here is the channel that it broke out of. My assumption would be eventually what you'll see is a back test and then a resumption up. And then at that point, there will be probably resistances along the way, but my guess would be that the next big resistance hurdle would be somewhere around 320 roughly, followed by another resistance hurdle at 350, and then a pretty big resistance at 380. And, depending on how the market is operating in totality, because, things can't just operate on their own. If all the markets are slipping, then Coinbase will unfortunately slip as well. But I feel as though it's done a pretty good job of exhausting the seller and finding support at 250. And so 250 to me is a pretty strong line in the sand of support. When all else fails. I think 300 is also going to end up becoming a pretty strong level of support. You can see all these different types of days trading in and around that point of reference of 300. And so once it gets back up above 300, which it is right now, and it can stay above it, it'll continue to build it as a stronger point of support. My hope is that with the next bull run of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, you'll see a lot of support in terms of Coinbase as well as a stock, because there's still a lot of people that can't actually go straight into crypto or are still hesitant about it, but still want to have some form of exposure into that space. And Coinbase is a really good way for them to get that kind of exposure. And so over the long term, I feel as though there's going to be a lot of volatility, but volatility that continues to trend north as opposed to trending south. This is a money-making machine. Currently today, they are one of the market leaders, and until someone can come in and disrupt their model, I feel as though they're going to have a pretty big advantage. And so if you have the patience, I think this is a great opportunity for you to find a stock that could help you get into the space of crypto if you're not comfortable getting into cryptocurrencies themselves. This could be a nice way to hedge your bets. And so for me, I'm making an educated guess that cryptocurrencies continue to innovate and overtake parts of the traditional financial system. And as a result, I believe there's ample opportunity for growth in the sector. I mean, it's hard to bet on each specific cryptocurrency and which ones will succeed and which ones will fail. And so if you invest in something like Coinbase, you don't have to make that assumption. You can just invest in the infrastructure of the cryptocurrency market itself. And, being the Pickaxe and Shovel company of the cryptocurrency revolution is a great way for you to get exposure and some high upside without actually having to put money into what some people might consider a riskier asset class. And so if you couple that with the fact that we have just recently started to scratch the surface in terms of regular people investing in cryptocurrencies, and the fact that this is probably the market leader in the exchange space, it seems to me like a great opportunity to invest in this on a 5 to 10 year time horizon and check back over that period of time and seeing how your investment is done. These two factors alone seem to me like an ultra catalyst for extreme growth for the next 5 to 10 years. And so I think this is an investment that people should do more due diligence on. Look at their S1 filing, see what happens at their quarterly report that they're going to have coming out here in the next couple of days, and see if it's something that's right for you. Okay, that about wraps up this video. I just wanted to do an extremely quick dive into a stock that I think has a great potential for return on your investment. I plan on doing more of these shorter videos where I do a little bit of research about a company, lay out the profile, and then talk about the stock itself in terms of what the charts look like. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. But if you didn't have coin on your radar, I hope you do now, and I think it's worth some time doing your own research on it. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks again for joining me on Adam Theory. Stay curious, ask questions, and build your own theory. Thanks.